expats have been coming to Malaysia in record numbers, more than ever before. And Malaysia was on a decline for a long time. For several decades, there was a decline in the amount of new people, new expats, new expat passes being given out in Malaysia. And so that's a great sign, right? That's a good sign for the economy and for development in Malaysia. So I actually have some numbers here because it's kind of wild. So last year, 154,155 expat passes were given out. And that's the highest since 2018. There was a high point in 2018. And also, as of this year, there's been 20% more than that, 20% more than last year. And so it's kind of a continuous growth. And that makes me happy, you know? So why the growth? You know, what's changed? Well, I suppose everyone's been watching my channel, huh? Been persuading everyone to come to Malaysia. No, I don't think that's the reason. That is not the reason. You know, maybe for some select expats, for sure. I've had a lot of messages and comments about, hey, saw your videos and now I'm coming to Malaysia on a trip, or, you know, I'm considering moving from Thailand, Philippines, Cambodia to Malaysia. And so that always feels good. That's nice. Hopefully we can grow this channel to a point where, you know, I do have a real influence on people coming here. And yeah, that's kind of the plan. That's what we hope for long term. But for now, it's more so in relation to jobs and like skilled workers coming in here and doing specific jobs that they have trouble filling with locals. So like new emerging technology, stuff like this, different tech jobs and all sorts of things that they're taking skilled specialists from other countries and hiring them here. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. You know, they do this in other countries as well, of course. That's how you build a strong economy. That's how you, you know, fill in the gaps in the country, right? Because you're not going to be able to go very far if you only hire locals. Of course, it is ideal. Like, companies would prefer to hire locals whenever they can. You know, they're always going to want to hire a skilled local of equal skill in something than a foreigner, for many reasons. I mean, for one, the work permit situation and, you know, having to get the foreigner like a work permit to stay legally, it's not always easy, or it costs money, both. And so, yeah, whenever people can hire locally, they will. But that's just not, it's just not possible a lot of the time. You know, I read that only 25% of like the skilled workers in many fields are actually locals. So that's, you know, 75% of the hires are, you know, being done by foreigners, but foreigners are being hired, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And it's actually a positive thing for the country. So, yeah, I thought these numbers were interesting. Hey, bro. Good, you? I'm here in the TT Wangsa Park, one of my favorite parks, actually. Everyone is nice and friendly out here this morning. Just noticed I'm filming on the wrong setting, so it's very zoomed in. It shouldn't be that zoomed in. Crap. Well, I like the intro, so I think I'm gonna keep it. This is how it's supposed to look. Not so zoomed in on Ben's face, right? But I'm gonna keep the intro. I liked it. Who cares? I want to talk a little bit about why expats are coming here otherwise. I think that, yeah, there's quite a few reasons. One, the surge of social media, of vloggers, of people coming to Malaysia and filming it and putting it online, putting it on their social media. This is just a compounding effect that, you know, one person has a reach of a few hundred people, 1,000 people, a couple thousand people. You put it out there, you know, at least a few people are gonna resonate with it and at least think, oh wow, Malaysia, never thought about that. And even if they don't come immediately, you know, it's now in their mind. And so it plants the seed. And for sure, this is a big factor, you know. Now let's take like Thailand, for example, became extremely popular just in the last couple of years. And that's largely due to social media, largely due to YouTube vloggers, especially during pandemic. You know, people were stuck at home just watching YouTube, kind of fantasizing about going somewhere else, going somewhere beautiful, you know, getting out of their town, getting out of their country, whatever. Yeah, it made a huge impact, and the country took off. The tourism took off, right? And I think that's slowly happening with Malaysia as well. It's a little bit less popular in that regard, with like vloggers, foreign vloggers coming in, but there are some, and there was not very many in the past, and that's only growing more and more. I know that the locals want to keep Malaysia underrated. They want to keep it sort of that hidden gem, right? You don't want it to get overcrowded. You don't want it to become the next Thailand. You know, a lot of the old beauty of what Thailand was is now destroyed. It's gone. It's still a great country, but, you know, similar as places like Bali. Used to be a beautiful place. You know, spent time there in 2017, 16, 18. Those years it was fantastic. And then now, you know, it's really changed because of tourism, because of overcrowded tourism. And the place can't handle the amount of people coming now. And so we don't want that to happen to Malaysia. But at the same time, we do want to get the word out there. We do want people to know about the country and to come here, to move here, and to travel here. I think it's more about finding the right tourists. And I think naturally, Malaysia will attract the right tourists. You know, it doesn't have any of the things that would attract the lesser desired demographic of people, like Thailand and Bali, which very party focused. Yeah, so naturally it's going to attract a certain crowd, you know, younger party types, maybe not respecting the country, respecting, you know, local culture, not respecting the neighborhood, throwing trash around, whatever, you know. That's a lot less likely to happen here. You know, I meet a lot of expats here, and it's just a different type of person. It's people that are much more similar to me, like-minded, and more wholesome individuals. You know, a lot of times it's couples coming here. More than anything, it's couples. And so I don't think it's a bad thing to promote the country as much as possible and get as much tourism and expats coming through, because it's only going to help the country. It's going to help the growth and development of Malaysia. And that's important. You know, if you want new technology, if you want the country to feel developed and extremely first world, which it does feel like that, you know, you have to really welcome like a lot of tourism. You know, it fuels that. And so, yeah, for me, that's the way I look at things. It's like, as many people as you can, you know, tell the word to, and have them become aware that, hey, this place exists and, you know, it's quite a good option, you know. I think that's a plus. I think it's a huge plus. Surely the most prime reason that people actually come here and move here is the finances, is the money part of it. It's just that their dollar goes further. And, you know, that goes for people coming here to work and, you know, earning more money here even than their home country. You know, places like Indonesia, places like Bangladesh, you know, if those workers can come here and get work legally and stay in the country, then that is a plus for Malaysia. That is a plus for them because they can earn more money, support their family. Of course, there's a whole other side of it where, you know, there's undocumented people. That's not what this video is about. We don't want to get into that. I see a lot of that in the comments. That's not what this video is about, right? But then you also have the Western expat side of things. And also, you know, places like China, it's like these people come here and their dollar goes so far. You know, they already make a wage in their home currency, and that money goes very far here. And so, the ringgit, the Malaysian ringgit is quite weak. So me being from America, coming here, unfortunately, I don't have an American job, or else that would be the number one thing. That'd be amazing, right? Making 2, 3, 4,000 US dollars a month online, working here, working online, just living here, you would be living like a king. I'd be living like a king. And that's what a lot of people do. Or they have a savings already, they don't even maybe have a job now. Maybe they have an Airbnb business back home, or something bringing them residual dollars, residual euros. And the money just goes so far here for them. It's very attractive. Gotta love how the park is just almost completely empty. You see maybe 3, 4, 5 other people in the entire park. It's around 10 in the morning right now. It's warm, but it's not excessively hot, which is good. The sun is not blazing, but it's just this is another thing, like in Malaysia, at least for me, a huge plus is that I get these parks all to myself. It's like, it almost feels crazy because it just would never happen in America. The parks are filled with people. At this time you would have 100 people walking their dog, people going for exercise, people even just like commuting somewhere. They'll cut through the park, and it's just like you're never getting a park to yourself, which is cool. It's cool to have people around too, but like at the end of the day, I think it's such a peaceful thing to have these full parks to myself. I don't know, it's just absolutely crazy, and it's a cool thing. Of course, it's because of the heat. Malaysians don't want to walk in the heat. They don't want to be outside in the morning. Of course, also people are working. A lot of people are in a 9-to-5 job or in a normal job situation, and I'm out here doing YouTube. So there's that, of course. But even sometimes on the weekends, like if it's hot, it's just not going to be that busy until it cools down. And like for me, that's a massive plus. I've had a lot of people comment like how cool they think that is, or how crazy that is to them. Even people from like the UK, Australia, they just think like, oh, I've not seen anything like that. Something that grand, a park this big, and it's just like, what, 2, 3 people jogging, walking? It's wild. I do think one of the most important things for a lot of Westerners, including myself, is that it's an English-speaking country here, and there's not really anywhere else that we can go that is like that, except for the Philippines. And again, it's just like such a different country. There's just such a different culture and like type of tourist that it brings, for the most part. That's like, you're gonna be more suited for one or the other. That's just how it is. And I think, to me, it's like that is one of the most biggest draws ever. Being able to navigate the city from day one and just walk up to somebody and simply like, ask for some input, ask for some direction, whatever it is, or just to meet somebody, make friends. It's like, it's so much easier here, and I'm not even talking about compared to a country like maybe Japan, where you're going to go and feel like a complete alien. You might walk around in isolation. But even to other countries that I've been, even to Indonesia and to Thailand, where there is people speaking English around, it's just not the predominant language, and it's not, it does make it difficult. You are constantly pulling out Google Translate, and that's not like, for me, that's not how I really like to live. It's not a problem. Like if you're traveling somewhere, I don't mind traveling somewhere. Sure, you need directions, you need you want to chat with somebody, like Google Translate is fine. But like on a day-to-day basis, and just for your life, long term, like, do you want to be able to communicate with the locals? It's a big thing. Now, of course, there's something to learning the local language. You can also learn Bahasa Malaya, which would be smart in the long term. It's my plan now. It's something I've decided to do. I think that my subscribers would really like it. I know that they would. You folks have told me many times now how great that would be if I did start learning. So yeah, I am going to learn. I'm going to take some classes, and I think that will open up some doors for me, both on YouTube and just like living here and enjoying my time here even more. But in general, you don't need to. You really don't ever need to if you don't want to. And that's just the reality. You could live here for 25 years, never, ever, ever learn any of the local language, and have no issues ever communicating with people and living your life. And that's something you can't really say about many countries. And even the Philippines, where they speak English, the English is not as proficient as Malaysia. Malaysians are some of the most proficient English speakers there are. I think maybe only a close second to somewhere like Singapore. But even many Singaporeans come here. It's like they either aspire to move here at some point, or they already have, or they work in Singapore and they live here. It's just like high quality of life for what you get. And the same can't be said for somewhere like Singapore. Sure, you earn a lot of money, but like, it's, from everyone I've talked to, it's very much that New York feeling of like fairly high stress because of your bills and how much you're paying for rent. And so yeah, it's not conducive to living an easy life, to living a nice life, to me. So it makes Malaysia like, okay, at the forefront, right? That is the number one option for English speakers, to move overseas. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Many new videos coming soon. I got some very cool interviews coming up on the streets of Malaysia. Drop a thumbs up on the video, that helps me a lot. And stay tuned, folks. All right, the final reason I want to talk about is the fact that Malaysia has so much different things to offer and so many different types of areas that you can live. So I'm here in Kuala Lumpur, which is very much the big city. It's very much for city people, I would say. But that is not all of Malaysia, not even close. If you want to live in the mountains, if you want to live by the beach, you want to live on an island, you can. It's an option. And so that same thing can't be said for many places. At least realistically, here you can very easily jump on a plane to Penang. You can jump on a plane to the East Coast in Sabah. I just got back from Sabah and Sarawak, which was completely different than Kuala Lumpur. Just such a different world. Not that Kuala Lumpur is not nature-esque, but I felt like Sabah, for example, Kota Kinabalu, it's like it's a city. It's kind of a big city still, but you have more nature. You have a lot of nature mostly everywhere you go. So it was an interesting feeling. And if you get outside of the main city of Kota Kinabalu, you can really head into the mountains. You can really head into more scenic rural areas and live there comfortably and even more affordably than in KL. Not all of Sabah. Some of it's going to be pricey, and some of it might be a little bit pricier than KL. But for the most part, it's like you have all these options. And yeah, again, the same can't be said like back in the US. Sure, we have many states. We have a lot of different types of places, but they're not all fit for living to me. It's not all places I'd want to go. Like, yeah, there are places that are beach-like, but like the nice places, it's like they're out of reach. They're unaffordable. It's impossible to live there. Or maybe in other areas, yeah, it's beautiful, but like the culture's terrible. It's like maybe full of fairly racist individuals and whatever it is. I found that there was always a block. There was always like something that was like, oh, I can't just move there and enjoy my life. Whereas in Malaysia, it's like the world is your oyster. You can kind of do what you want, move where you want. As an expat, I'm talking, if you have your financial situation tight, locked down, whether you work online, you have a pension, you have a savings, there's just so many different places you can stay and live based on the speed of life that you want. And like, I think Kuala Lumpur for me still reigns supreme. I think the convenience that you have of everything being around, as you can see, you still have the nature, you still have like a beautiful park like this, which is not overcrowded. And so, yeah, you get a lot of the big city luxuries, the big city amenities and conveniences without necessarily having such a stressed, overcrowded life. And that's something I've not experienced before. You know, I spent a lot of time in Bangkok. Sure, you have a lot of conveniences, big city, but it's absolutely crazy. It's stressful. It's polluted. You know, there's too many people around. And so there's the drawbacks. You know, I just don't find as many drawbacks here in Kuala Lumpur. Sure, it gets hectic. Sure, there's traffic. But there's actually traffic most places in Malaysia, I find. And so, yeah, during peak time especially, it's just how it goes. It's just, that's life. But in general, for a big city, it's like the most chill big city you're gonna get. And so that's just another huge reason, yeah, to live here. And yeah, for me to stay in Kuala Lumpur specifically. I could see myself living in Sabah as well. It's, you know, it's wild. I never thought of myself living outside of the big city. And then I visit some of these towns in Malaysia, even some smaller places like Ipoh, or places like Penang, you know. These places just feel livable. It feels like, oh, there's no reason I couldn't be happy here. And just like, I can't say the same for a lot of places I visited, you know. It doesn't always feel like, oh, I could just settle down here and be comfortable. And that's what I find in Malaysia. I find that across the country feels comfortable. It's interesting, you know, everything feels fresh. And so, yeah, you know, I've been here 5 months, almost 6 months now, and everything still feels good, you know. I do feel I'm past any real honeymoon phase. And now it's much more like that day-to-day life feeling. And I still love it, you know. Actually, I like it more and more every day. And so that is the most telling thing, is that the luster is not going away. You know, the place is getting more exciting to me. And yeah, I'm feeling more comfortable, enjoying my life more. So yeah, I'm gonna stay here. And I hope the folks who watch my videos do come and enjoy Malaysia as much as I do. I know a lot of you tell me you're coming and taking a trip out here in the next year or something. And so yeah, enjoy it, folks. But that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about. Nice to see Malaysia growing, and yeah, let's see the stats over the next 1-2 years. You know, do we keep growing? It'd be nice, right? That'd be awesome. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, drop a thumbs up. Sorry, my mouth is so dry. Drop a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video.